What's up? Today, I felt like making a cool video about what it's like driving an old car. And by old car, you might think mom, dad's old F-150. Let's say what, like 2005, probably the 5.4. I'm talking about really old. We're talking Cold War old, possibly even earlier than that, Probably when your grandpa was, not so old and grumpy and wrinkly. Really driving an old car is like constantly having a dog that you walk in the park, but then it's not trained. So what happens is that little piece of garbage is running around taking shits everywhere, and then guess what? It's gonna try to hump another dog, and then guess what? They're gonna start fighting. Awesome. That's pretty much what driving a car like this is. Mine is a second gen F body Firebird Trans Am. Yeah, the one from Smokey. Yeah, everyone knows that one. It's really cool. People think these cars are like, oh my god, you're gonna need a lot of work, and then it's gonna be such a hard time trying to bring it back from the dead or someone's backyard. But really, I mean, if you know what you're doing and looking around, it can be really fun. Yes, you're gonna be paying money for an older car. Why not just buy a newer one? Are you dumb? Oh, what's the prices like on these cars? When it comes to the type of vehicle you want, usually it's not that big of a deal or not that big of a price difference, especially based on the condition of what you're driving. Completely bought it just like how it was now. Not really. Of course, I replaced parts on it and I have to pour money into it, but it's been a great car. I have never been stranded. I've driven it for miles, out a few hours at a time. I've taken the thing fishing, for God's sake. Most cars, since they're not in tip-top shape, respectfully, they should be around maybe 3 to 10 grand. That's pretty much the average prices you're going to see for these cars, especially with these F bodies. Down here where I live, there's not too much of them, but there's also not too much amazing, beautiful restored examples. My car costed me around 5 grand, and it was a pretty fair deal because before this car actually costed 8 grand. But what unfortunately happened is that the previous owner got into a car accident, and now the right side of the car is mangled up. But it still functions. It just looks weird now. And yes, I know the belt is squealing. I need a tensioner, and it sucks. But deal with it. It also just determines on how solid the car is. Like my car has zero rust on the undercarriage. It's black down there. It's great. There's no rust. Let's say if you want to find something like a charger, that could be a lot harder because where the hell have you seen a charger for less than what? Like 11 grand, 15 grand? That's a shitload of money for a car that you probably don't know much about. So if you don't know much about an old car, it'd be safer to do some research and research an easier option. Like for example, what's in this Firebird, and also a good thing I wanted it for was a 350. It's just a regular 350, and apparently it came out of an '88 Blazer. So just like that, you got yourself a pretty sturdy motor that will last forever, really, if you just maintain your oil changes and just keep it up. Basic maintenance: coolant, oil, brake fluid. Apart from that, you should be really good. Maintenance itself, is it different from a regular car? Probably. Yes. Why? Because obviously they're so old. All these mechanical parts that are in these old cars are probably going out by now. Oil wouldn't be the same. You would not be buying synthetic oil for sure. Since a lot of these old engines are pretty worn, and a lot of them are flat tapping cams, we just use conventional oil. Conventional oil, they still sell it. It's not something hard to find. It's really easy to use, just regular oil, Nothing too strange about it. I myself use Valvoline VR1. You don't have to use VR1. You can use Pennzoil. I know they have Royal Purple. There's a bunch of brands. And usually you go around 10W20, 10W30, or 40. For where I live, I'd say go 40 because it gets hot. Oil filter is the same. Well, not really because they're conventional oil filters too, but it's not too much different. Some oil you might have to order, like VR1 especially. Some places don't really have VR1, like in regular auto parts stores. I don't really buy much from auto parts stores anyway. I always say order your stuff online because it's half of the time cheaper, especially bigger parts or more important ones like alternators, because you can find way better alternators on eBay than you can on O'Reilly's or Advance. There's a reason why they're going out of business. Like they're closing thousands of stores. You better have tools. And that's another thing. Tools by themselves are money. So when it comes to that, you're definitely going to want to spend some money. Did I spend money on tools? Of course I have. I've spent probably a lot more money than I have on maintenance itself. In the end, you will have tools because over time, as you fix more things, you're going to realize, oh, I need this tool, and then I need that tool, and then you'll go out and get it, and get it, and get it, and then little do you know, you're building a whole arsenal already. So, of course, you're going to have the tools in the end. If you don't have the tools now, don't worry. You shouldn't be scared. Just do it, man. If you find a good motor in a good car, you're going to have success. Because for a lot of these older cars, especially, they have very good aftermarket support. Like these Camaros and Firebirds have plenty. And there are plenty of cars around that can share parts. It's a 350 small block. All the generations of small block I can use parts from. These cars were literally built so simple. And yeah, they don't have a lot of power, but do you really need all that for a daily driver? Remember, this isn't a race car. We're not building race cars here. We're just driving when we want to drive. It's really simple and easy. Don't think it's the most complicated thing in the world. If you want to get into restoring it, maybe, yes, it could be a little bit tedious. I think you're going to have to deal with it. Rust is going to exist. Even where I am in Florida, you can still have rust. It's not, obviously there's no salt on the road, so everything rusts a lot slower and sometimes not at all. So when it comes to rust, just don't get a car with too much. My car has rust, of course it does. It's got rust. Well, this actually fell off the car. Check this out. That's a part of the lower right fender, the part where I got hit by a car. So don't be scared. The same thing as maintaining a new car.
I with the braids. I'm AI with the braids. I'm AI with the braids. Dribble rock, crossover, young.
On to the third point. Cool points. Obviously, you're going to get a lot of attention because, first of all, your overhead valve motor is probably a loud piece of shit and everyone's going to be looking at you. But on the other hand, some people actually know what your car is and it looks cool and they're going to say hi and you're like, wow, what's that? This and that. And if you're not a person that likes attention, I don't know why you're trying to drive a car like this because everyone's going to look at you. But it's really cool because it goes to show how much regular people around you actually do like these cars and they're pretty cool. Like I have people all the time giving me thumbs up on the road as they're driving next to me and I have to look over there quickly and be like, oh, what's up? I can park my car and then now the guy come up to me and be like, oh wow, cool, awesome guy, that's super cool. And I'm like, yeah, it's awesome. And then I was in a parking garage this one time, and then I had two older guys. They were probably foreigners. And he was like, wow, what model is that? Is that Chrysler? And I'm like, no, it's not. And they're like, oh, what is it? And I was like, oh, it's a Pontiac. It's a cool learning experience for them too because, hello, when's the last time you seen a Pontiac on the road? Obviously, they're not that uncommon, but a Pontiac like this definitely is because half of the people that look at it don't even know what it is. Obviously, it's really nice to drive, and it's something different, and you can be proud of that. A lot of people would be like, oh my God, there's no reason why you should be driving that, especially NPCs that drive Priuses. But a lot of people don't understand. Look. Thank you, man. Fuck. Look, see, someone just gave me a thumbs up. I just parked on Walmart right now. It's nice knowing that people appreciate these machines, you know, because they really are machines. Look at them. I'm missing a door panel, and I have all this broken stuff yet. It still runs, and I'm more than happy. So if you're worried about if you look cool enough, let's be honest. Like, do we really drive these cars and not expect to get attention? Come on, don't be stupid. Keep driving cool things. Point number 4 pretty much agrees with the third point. They're the same thing. It's quality of life / fun. Yeah, it's fun, and people will look at you and all that. But in terms of quality of life, obviously, what do you want in your car? Do you want air conditioning? Do you want heated seats? Do you want Apple CarPlay? And if you want all that, you can get the hell out because you're not getting any of that. Do you think these cars were made in 2012? No. All of these cars are broken. Yes, they're all broken. Don't think you're going to get a nice car with everything intact if it's $5,000. No. Everything is broken, especially if it's rusted. I don't care where you come from. I'm probably one of the best places to buy one of these things, sort of, when it comes to condition. And I think, and this car is it needs so much. This is a factory lock car too, not just a factory window car, power windows. But they don't have locks anymore. It had power locks too. They're in there. I have the wiring harness sitting in the door right now. And there's no button. Look, you can even see it. This is the factory power locks. Look at this. It's disgusting. Yeah, it could be nice and pristine on the outside, but you'll never see what's inside the doors and what's inside the little crevices behind the seat and all the crevices behind the dash. There's always going to be something wrong. And problems are going to keep coming up. Like right now, I think when the distributor gets too hot, the ignition coil shits itself. And I just have to replace that. And that's, guess what? It's another $20. So $20 plus $20 plus $20 plus $20 is $100. And then more than $20 add up, and then who knows? You're spending probably what, $1,000, $2,000 on repairs. But that's fine. I don't care. You know why? Because people pay that sometimes in a month or 2 months, paying these stupid fucking leases on their Scat Pack. No air conditioning, no heated seats, no radio. There's straight up an empty hole where the radio is full of wires. There's no radio. Why would you need music when you have a nice ass V8 in the freaking car? You can hear it. I don't understand that. People have asked me, where's the speakers? I'm like, are you stupid? This car has no radio. No air conditioning, no radio, no heated seats, no power locks. Quite possibly no power windows, but I do because this car came with it from the factory and it still worked, so it's great. The overall conclusion, is it worth it daily driving a classic / old car? I would say, if you really want one, yes. It is very fun. If you've been dreaming of getting one, I'd say go ahead. Why not, man? There's so much you can do, and it's so special because no one else will have your car. And then, apart from that, I mean, if it's what you want, then you should go get it, man. I just replaced the mufflers on this thing with cherry bombs, glass packs. I don't care what anybody says. I want glass packs, I'll put them on. I just did. And then everyone's bitching at me, oh, you should have left the Flowmasters on there. Oh, actually, I think this is not good for your car because this and that. Does that matter, really? I mean, does that matter to you? If you care about other people's opinions all that much, then why are you doing the things you do now? I'm not going to listen to anybody like that. Do you think I care? Because in the end, who is entitled to your car? Who bought your car? Who's the one that works in your car? Not them. So what the fuck do they care? They're just bitching at you for no reason because they're not as good as you. Look at you. You have the car you want, and then you can enjoy it every day. And then what are they doing? Jacking off and dealing with their fat wives? I don't care. You know what's crazy? A lot of old men will tell you shit for what you drive. Guy, you have a job and a wife and kids. Leave me alone. Are you gonna have fun sitting in an old piece of crap that you genuinely love, or a soulless piece of garbage with a humongous touchscreen as a dashboard? I've always hated that. I hate tapping on screens on my goddamn dashboard. I like buttons. If you really want to do it, go ahead, because I did, and I'm doing just fine. But obviously, you gotta know what you're doing. Know how to look for leaks, know how to look for old parts, bushings. Like, for example, my steering wheel needs a new rag joint because the whole thing is slopped, and you can hear it. You hear that? That's a sloppy steering wheel right there. Oh yeah, check out that slop. Look, even with the key on. That's what I'm talking about. So, there you go. I actually had the guy come back after he finished shopping telling me, oh, it fast? No, these things are not fast. If you buy an old car to go fast, you better know what you're doing. These cars are not fast. So if you see one of these in public, you pretty good chance you're going to win against it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And you can look like this too, man. It's really easy. You can have all of this for not that much money, realistically. I mean, it's like any other car. You work and get the money, you can have it. Like, obviously, you can see a lot of rust. That's where the part fell out of. Look, that don't sound great. That's a lot of money, sir. I think you need to fix it. So yeah, that's it. Should you buy an old classic car? Yes. Should you buy it if you know how to fix it? Yes. Should you buy it if you don't know how to fix it? Maybe. If you have money. It's pretty much all up to money. Another thing with these cars, these aren't land yachts, okay? They've got raggedy suspension, and the bushings are old, and the shocks are super old and shot. And then, what do you expect? Do you expect a Rolls Royce? No, you're buying an old car from the 80s. I'll see you guys later, and let me know what you think. Please tell me, because I'm not very smart.
Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas!